Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $20,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 64-year-old male. Now, first thing I recommend is go directly to our website at funeralfunds.com. And we've got these free quoters on just about every page. So just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, put your birthday in there, the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It'll take you to a page that's going to show you the best insurance companies in your state that are going to give you the best pricing based off your age, gender, and of course the state that you live in. You can also call us directly at 888-862-9456. One of our licensed agents can help you out there as well. Now, one of the first things we recommend a 64-year-old male looking for $20,000 worth of insurance for consider is that $20,000 going to be enough for your final expense needs? Typically, that's going to be either a cremation or a burial. Let's start with that cremation. So the average cost of a cremation right now in the United States, where you just come home in a cardboard box or an urn, is between $1,000 to $2,000. Nothing fancy there. Now, if you're going to have that cremation and have some sort of ceremony, like a remembrance ceremony or celebration of life ceremony, that's probably going to be somewhere between $3,500 to $4,500, depending where you live in the country. But as far as coverage amounts for that cremation where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend or typically help people with around $5,000 to $7,000. And you might be saying, well, Randy, the cremation was $2,000. Why are we looking at $5,000? And the reason is our 64-year-old male probably wants to live to 74 or maybe even 84 years old, right? So what we do is we actually get a little bit more coverage right now. We actually lock in our lowest rates. And by getting that little extra coverage, we inflation-proof the plan for the years to come so that there will be enough money there in the coming years as well. And then also, if you died sooner than anybody thought, there'd be some extra insurance on the front end to maybe pay off some other miscellaneous expenses, like maybe medical bills or credit card bills or something like that, that if given the gift of time, you would have been able to pay those off over time. So it works really well. Inflation-proof the plan long-term and then provides extra money in the short term for extra expenses. Now for that cremation where you've got the ceremony, most of the time we would help people with around $7,000 to $10,000. And again, that inflation-proof is the plan long-term, and it also offers extra funding on the front end just in case there is extra expenses. Now, if you're going to do a burial, the average cost of a burial in the United States right now is right around $10,000. So it's hard to imagine if you walked into a funeral home that they would not accept $10,000, tell you to leave, walk out the door, and have you walk 2 blocks down to one of their competitors. Just keep in mind that $10,000 is not going to be a fancy funeral in this day and age, but they should be able to work with you and get it done in some way, shape, or form. But most of the people that we would help, males age 64, are probably going to be looking at somewhere between $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000. And it kind of just depends on your finances and how fancy you kind of want your funeral to be, what kind of arrangements you want. But if money's kind of an issue, money's tight, we'd probably recommend you just immediately get the $10,000. That takes care of your most immediate needs, and you can always add more coverage later. But if you really want to kind of inflation-proof that plan, maybe be looking at $15,000 to $20,000. But we can work with you either way. Now, it seems like, every week or so we'll get somebody that will call in and say, hey, we want to do the final expenses, but we want to leave money behind for the kids too. So what's like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 go for? So we'll run the price, say, on $50,000 and go, ooh, that's more than we can afford. I guess we're not going to do anything at all then. And we have to kind of remind them that, hey, you kind of came in here wanting to cover those final expenses first. And if you don't do anything, your kids are going to have to pay for this themselves, and they're probably going to have to put it on credit cards and paying 26% interest, and it's going to take them years to pay off. And ultimately, the fact that it's expensive is because you waited until age 64 to look at $50,000. You could have done this sooner. So it's not the insurance company's fault. It's not our fault. It's that you waited too long. So typically what we do is we recommend people do, in fact, take care of the final expenses. And then what we can always do later is come back and add a separate policy for the kids. So that works out terrifically for folks. And we're we're happy to do that. Now, one thing we always recommend is getting first day coverage or benefits. We do not recommend plans with 2-year waiting periods. So what that first day coverage means is that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write out that check for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever the coverage amount is. That's going to be the best coverage at the best pricing. Now, sometimes people will say, well, you're right, Randy, I do want that first day coverage, but I'm not in the best of health and I'm worried I may not qualify because of that. To which we say, hey, that's our problem, not your problem. And what we mean by that is that we work with a bunch of different insurance companies. They all have different health questions. They all have different underwriting. And really right now, we're getting right around 90 to 95% of the time, we're getting people approved for first day or coverage or benefits. So we're terrific at what we do. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first day coverage is if you waited too long and you had some significant health issues come up, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to pass away in the next 12 months, or you had dementia, or you're on dialysis, or you're in a hospital or a nursing home. If that were the case, we would typically refer you out to a different company. And then sometimes, seems like a weekly basis, we'll get a call from somebody that says, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have any money. We don't have any insurance. And another call we seem to get on a weekly basis is somebody will call up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week. They didn't have insurance. We don't have any money. Their body's down at the funeral home. The funeral home director is not going to do anything until he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get the money to get to the funeral home director so we can get everybody buried. And we have to let them know that there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to offer a plan on a dead person. You actually have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. You can't wait until somebody's dead. And it's really tragic that their family member passed away, but it's doubly tragic that they didn't have any insurance and they knew they were going to die someday. They knew they needed this insurance. They just put it off one more day. And then one day they just went and died. And now their family members got to pay for this. And typically they're going to have to put this on credit cards and pay at 26% interest. And it's going to take them years and years and years to pay off. And what a terrible legacy to leave behind. You could have done everything else right in life and you messed this one thing up and you throw your debt and your final expense burden on your family member. And that's how they're going to remember you. So don't leave that legacy behind. This insurance is affordable. If you need to, you can start small. We can always help you add more coverage later. Don't be that person who does this to your family. And we can help you out with that. Now, one thing we don't recommend is the plans with the 2-year waiting periods. And, Colonial Penn's a fairly well-known company out there. They're on the TV all the time with those $9.95 commercials. I think they're playing every 7 minutes, aren't they? Yikes, right? But you may not know this, but that $9.95 plan, that's a 2-year waiting period. Yeah, we don't recommend that at all. Now, Colonial Penn, they're not the only ones out there with a 2-year waiting period. There's other companies out there too, like Mutual of Omaha, the United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber. Gosh, so many of these other companies out there. And some of these companies have done an amazing job at convincing the American public that if you are over age 50, the only thing you qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't fall for such nonsense. We help people with first day coverage all day long. Now, our 64-year-old male probably just got done watching a Colonial Penn commercial, and he's probably thinking, you know what? At age 64, I can probably get so much insurance for $9.95. I can probably get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000. And then he calls and talks with the Colonial Penn agent or goes online and looks on their website like we're doing for you right here. And he says that 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, is only going to pay out $949. Well, that is like silly. There's no way that's covering a burial. And I don't know of really any place in the United States that's even going to cover a cremation. And even if it would, it's got a 2-year waiting period. It's not going to pay for anything. Yeah, 2-year waiting period if you die of a health or medical related reason. So why would you ever get a plan that's inadequate in almost every sense and makes you wait 2 years? Why would you ever do that? Doesn't make sense, right? Now, some people would say, the companies that offer these really low teaser rates that tease you into getting your information. And once they get your information, they put you in their marketing funnel. And then when they get you on the phone, they're happy to show you these low rates, but they do not want to sell these plans. They do not want to sell you the really low plans, but they'll show them to you and they'll show you how measly the coverage is. And then they'll try to upsell you to more expensive coverage that's much more profitable for them. So we would never say that Colonial Penn would do anything like that, but some people, I think I've heard some people say things like that. And I guess you'll have to determine on your own based off the fact that it's $9.95 and it's only going to pay out $949, which isn't even enough for a cremation in anywhere that we know. So you can make that determination on your own. But let's find out what $20,000 would be. The challenge we're going to run into with Colonial Penn is they max out at 15 units. So you can't even get $20,000. Look at 15 units, you're only going to get $14,235. You can't even get an even number coverage with them at age 64 because they sell it by unit. They don't sell it by, coverage amount like the other insurance companies do. But let's go see what $20,000 would be in first day coverage and see what that would be. $20,000 male, age 64, get quote. And we're going to go back and look at this. Again, this is $14,000 for $150. And look at this. I want to show you the actual pricing here. Again, that's $20,000. I just wanted to show you that so you don't think I'm fooling you. And we roll down here. $20,000 would be $99.76. So basically $100. But you got to ask yourself, would you rather get $20,000 for right around $99, or would you rather get $14,000 right around $150? So you're paying basically $50 more a month and you're getting roughly $6,000 less coverage, and you're getting slapped with a 2-year waiting period. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that? You need to be a smart consumer. If you're not a smart consumer, that's okay. Let us help you be a smart consumer, and we can help you get qualified and approved for these better companies. This is first day coverage. That's what that level means, first day coverage. But think about it, Colonial Penn, you're going to overpay $50 a month and get slapped with a 2-year waiting period. Let's do the math on that though. So if you're overpaying $50 a month, that's going to be $600 a year you're overpaying. If our 64-year-old male makes it up to age 74, you will end up overpaying right around $6,000 on a $20,000 plan. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that? Here's the deal. We recommend you let us help you get qualified at this lower pricing, and then by default, your bank account's going to have $6,000 more money in it than it did if you go with the wrong insurance company. And we recommend you keep that money in your own bank account and not deposit $6,000 in an insurance company's bank account. And think about it. If you lived another 20 years, you'd overpay an extra $12,000 with Colonial Penn on a $20,000 policy. It makes no sense. Don't do that. Let us help you. Let's look at some other insurance companies though. We'll just go down here. All right. Even if a company's around $10 more a month, that's $10 times 12 months. That's 120. 10 years, that'd be an extra $1,200. You would never be walking down the street and pull out your wallet, pull out $1,200 and throw it down on the street and walk away, would you? No. Why would you do that with an insurance company then? Let us help you get the lowest pricing. Let's take a look here. Let's find one other company. Oh, wait, here we go. Lincoln Heritage. So fine company, I guess. Look at that pricing though. Woohoo! $132 basically. Yikes. It is level coverage, first day coverage, but it's so much more expensive. Why is that though? Well, here's the deal. They've got a deal where when you pass away, that they was supposedly called 2 or 3 different funeral homes to get you the lowest pricing, and they'll do a couple other things, but they do not do that for free. Oh no, they don't. They charge a higher premium to do that. So yeah, it's like $132. So let's go take a look. It's $132 versus $99. So let's just round the numbers. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. We're going to say it's $30 a month. That's easier math for me. So $30 a month times 12 months is going to be an extra $360. That's a year. And then if our 64-year-old male makes it to age 74, you have overpaid $3,600. More, remember, because I rounded numbers. But let's just say it's $3,600. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth paying an insurance company an extra $3,600 to make 2 or 3 phone calls and do a couple of other things that might only take an hour or so to do? Most people would say, hey, that's a pretty good payday for an insurance company, right around $3,600 an hour. So we recommend you not do that. We want you to keep that $3,600 in your bank account and not put that in the bank account of an insurance company. So what we recommend you do is let us help you get approved for the lowest price. And then we offer a free funeral and estate planning guide. And all you need to do is just download that off our website and then print it out. And once it's printed out, fill it out. Write down who gets what goes where, and what you want done after you're gone. And when you're done with that, keep it with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, your family members go to that one place, and they're going to know that they're not only protected financially with the insurance policy, but emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. Because all they'll need to do is open up that funeral and estate planning guide and read it, and then just follow through and just execute your wishes. Just do what you said, what you wrote down. And they will know that you not only loved and protected them in life, but you loved and protected them that one last time in death, exactly when they would need it the most, when you're not around. And you took care of that in advance with the policy and the funeral and estate planning guide. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. So if you want to leave that legacy behind, reach out to us. We've got a special quote for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. You can search out the best companies with the best rates. Take full advantage of that. It's a great way to check pricing. You can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you out with that. But, if you've got an existing policy and you want us to price shop it to make sure you got the best deal, or you want to add coverage to that, we can help you out with that. If you want a brand new policy, or you just need some information or want pricing or something like that, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to helping you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with that at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.